Yeah, that's what we did.
Yeah, awesome. And she is single, guys.
Oh, don't do that.
She's single.
I never look at the camera, I just look at you, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you can. Okay.
Can what?
Yes.
Yes, what? You were
Look
looking
at
at the
me.
camera. Okay.
Look at me. Okay, so we're starting. Welcome.
Hello.
Welcome, special guest today, friend, client, Sarah.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about the Teacher Loan Assistance Program, okay? TSHAC, as many may refer to it. So, I wanted to talk to her, and, it's been a couple years almost now, right? Almost
Yeah,
2 years?
2 years.
2 years. And just to kind of recap your experience using this program, and then we'll dig deeper into it. So, tell us a little bit about yourself, Sarah.
All right. My name is Sarah. I am a special education teacher in Pasadena ISD. And that's pretty much about it.
Awesome. Okay, so let's start with a little joke, just to kind of break the ice a little bit. And so, why did the man walk on one foot to the ATM?
I have no idea.
Because he wanted to check his balance.
Good one.
I mean, that's how we all do it, right? That's how we check the ATM.
No, we do it from our phones now, so we're standing up in our room.
There you go. Laying in bed, scrolling. Ooh.
And then you fall off the bed when you see the account.
Scroll back down. If I didn't see it, it never happened. Awesome. So, again, Sarah is the guest today on the podcast. Thank you so much for coming. So, let's start off with the program. So, let's see. How did you hear about the program?
I heard about the program from you, as well as I had other friends who had already bought homes.
Yeah.
And they told me about it, and then I reaffirmed it with you. And then the person, I should probably know the terminology, but the person who helped with all the loan process.
Loan officer.
The loan officer.
Yeah.
That guy.
Yeah, that guy.
But between the two of y'all really helped me organize that and figure out how to approach them.
Cool. Awesome. Let's dig a little bit deeper. What made you decide to say, I need to get a house? I want to get a house, I need to get a house. Like, let's, if you want to, let's talk about it.
I mean, I can. It's just, it'll be long. So, basically, I'm Latina. I'm Hispanic, and I was raised in America. My parents are immigrants, but I was raised in America.
There you go.
And the rule of thumb for the rule of thumb for a lot of Latino homes is you're not leaving this house until you get married, basically. Yeah. But all of my friends left for college. They left the state. They left Houston, and they all, were 18 on their own, figuring things out, and I didn't get that.
Yeah.
So one of the conversations that my parents and I always had was, I'm not going to wait till I get married to move out, but as soon as I'm done with college, because education was really big for them, as soon as I'm done with college, I'm going to find my own place.
So I think parents are all about education.
So they were all about education, and my dad, eventually we came to an agreement, okay, you finish college, you get to move out. But then there was a part 2 to that. You can't just move out and go rent somewhere because you're going to waste your money. You need to move out and either find a townhome, a condo, something to buy to call your own.
There you go.
Fast forward a long 8 years later. I graduated, and my father's health wasn't doing so well, and that's when we realized, okay, I need to move out and buy a home that's large enough to move my parents in with me so they could stop worrying about having to take care of me, and it was my turn to take care of them.
Yeah. And
that's how it all started.
So child turning into provider, caretaker. So that's good though.
Dang, that's deep.
Yes. It is deep. Ironically, I don't think it's that rare anymore. I've had a lot of conversations with people looking for homes that can accommodate it has a name actually, but they're looking for a house to accommodate 2 generations. You know, that young generation that is now a young working professional adult and house their parents, which is the second generation, the older generation. So it's actually a big market, and houses that have kind of like this typical like big house, you know, your master suite, and then it has a second master.
Yeah.
And that's for the older generation, you know, for the mom and the dad who live there, usually on the first floor, and that way they don't have to worry about, you know, like worry about housing or nursing homes, right? Which is the scariest thought, you know.
It is, and you know, I mean, especially in our, because you're Latino too, and in our community, that's our culture. You don't put parents in a nursing home.
I think that's a good culture. I talked to one of our gym mates, Andrea. She is got into that field, and she told me pretty much how horrible it is.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good thing to do, because the regulation is very minimal as it is. Enforcement is even worse. So it's like the baseline is like really low.
Yeah.
Like the baseline is supposed to be here, and then like it actually, you know.
It isn't always like that. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I've definitely seen how you take care of your parents and family, and like you said, Hispanics family is very important, right?
Yeah. Very important. Number one.
Yeah, so that's always good. So now that we talked about the why, obviously house is very important. It's a good thing to do. So let's talk about the house search. How was the hunt?
So I'm a very emotional person, and the hunt was very emotionally draining for me.
It was real.
You were very patient with me. So I graduated in December of 2015. And we started the search right away. I remember, you were at my graduation party, and I remember like a week later, you and I were like, okay, let's get started.
Yeah.
And I thought it was one of these like, okay, I have a year to save up, and then I'm going to get a house. And it took off right away. So in January, we started going to look at houses with you, and my brother, Oscar, tagged along to everything, because I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't. And
we're gonna say shout out, happy birthday to Oscarito.
Happy birthday, Brother Bear.
Coco.
Coco.
As he's referred to.
But yeah, so you and I and Oscar and and Audi and Sultan and everybody else, because our family is very united, we started going to houses, and you would look for houses, I would look for houses.
I remember that. And
we would visit. I remember the first day we went out, and it actually wasn't Oscar, it was Audi. We went to Starbucks.
Yeah.
And we had that awkward moment of you were going to pay for my coffee, but we were in cars, and I kept telling the barista, no, I'm paying for his coffee. Ma'am, he already paid because you were in front of me. I was like, well, that's not fair. I wanted to pay for it. And she's like, ma'am, you're holding up the line. Oh, okay, just kidding.
I remember that, yeah.
But it was a short process compared to what I thought was going to be. I thought it was going to be a year process of looking and figuring it out, but then we quickly realized the market was great at the time and people were buying, so we had to put in offers, and that was the emotionally draining part. Very emotionally draining was the rejection of your offer wasn't high enough, because I was fresh out of college and I had no debt, thank God, because I lived with my parents, so I didn't have to worry about finances. All I had to worry was pay for college.
Yeah.
So by the time I was done with college was paid off. I paid it, out of pocket.
There you go.
But
that's a good strategy, right?
yes, it's a very good strategy. That's why it was the long 8 years later.
Yeah.
But, we started looking, we were putting in offers, and we were being rejected because my offers weren't high enough. But although I was approved for a higher amount, I had an amount that I told you I don't want to go over that. This is it. Because I just didn't know. I'd never have to worry about finances, so I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
And
that's always good, right? You stick to your budget.
Yes.
Now, just a little side note, did you have to readjust your budget after you kind of saw where...
I definitely readjusted
what you were
my
dealing
budget,
with?
Yeah. It was competitive out there. Now I understand why our city is so big.
Yeah.
We have a lot of transplants from all over the world coming here and buying property, buying homes, and it's competitive out there.
There's a lot of international money.
Yes.
Not just people, but just money.
Yeah.
But yeah, it makes for this kind of recipe of competition.
Mm-hmm.
Immense competition, and it hasn't changed yet. It's still the same.
Which is amazing. I mean, it's great for our city.
Yeah. It's great for you because, you know, you'll get that 20% equity pretty quick. Which is, I mean, that's kind of crazy. It's only been 2 years. So if you hit, because there's a couple of houses that I've showed in your neighborhood, if they sell, hypothetically, in 2 years, your house would appreciate it, like 10%?
Yeah.
Maybe close to 20% actually, because you probably haven't paid 10% of your principal, so I mean that's a crazy amount of appreciation.
Yeah, you know? I remember we were looking at it. You were showing me.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, keep going.
Yeah, because historically the number is 3% appreciation of life of a house. So like if you were to break it down, you have these peaks and valleys in home value, right? So if you were to say, okay, 30 years from today, if you average it out, the house would appreciate every year 3%. You know, that's what the rules are. What we're talking about, close to 20%.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy, to be honest. But anyways, okay. Let's talk about why you wanted to use T-Shack. You know, so we talked about we're hopping on the market. It's popping, still popping. Very stressful. Competition's high. Talk about how T-Shack helped you buy your house.
So in all of that, at some point, I remember being on vacation and going. We were actually under contract with a house, and we weren't happy. Neither were you. Like you and I both got a weird feeling. We're like, no, something's not right here, and we pulled out. And even though we pulled out, I contacted you as soon as I got back from vacation, and I remember telling you, I'm done looking. I need a break from this. That's when I decided the budget needs to go up from my end. I need to raise the budget. I need to save some more because what I'm trying to get and what I'm willing to pay is not matching up.
Yeah.
So I remember calling you and telling you I'm done looking. I'm not doing it. And you were so chill about it. You're like, you say that now. I'm gonna keep looking. I'm gonna keep working for you. He was like, but take your time to just
decompress.
And that. A month later, in May, we had the Memorial Day flood.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so, side note, my parents' home would always flood all the time. And so that was another reason I had to get our house and get out of there to get them out of that. So their house flooded. And I called you, and I was like, just kidding, we gotta keep looking. So we readjusted my budget, we talked to the loan officer, I sat down with you, and again I sat down with Oscar, and we raised my budget, we raised the amount that I said I was gonna spend. And it was a better price range, and we were able to find a lot more homes, but I kept having to I kept thinking, I don't have enough for the down payment. There's no way I can go under contract if I'm not ready.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when we really started looking into the program, and we realized what I had wasn't enough if I was approved for the program.
Yeah. So the T-Shack program, just to kind of give a quick overview on it. So what we're talking about is this is a Texas program, almost like a grant program, and essentially what they're doing is they're going to give you down payment assistance towards you buy your house, because you have two things that you have to factor when you buy your house. Obviously, you're thinking about your monthly payment, what you can afford, but there's an upfront cost, right? So your down payment comes into play. Usually 3% of the price of the house. So that can be a couple $1,000, right? $100,000, that's $3,000. Down payment, then you have closing costs. Mm-hmm. That's another 4% on average.
Which I didn't know about.
Yeah, the price of the house. So it's, we're so focused on down payment, but then, there's other costs involved because we have, escrow accounts, we have home insurance, things that the mortgage company requires. So just to make sure everything's taken care of. So what the T-Shack does is what they're going to do is the cost is offset by a higher interest, but they will give you back, 3 to 4% back towards your closing. So essentially the closing cost is paid for.
Yeah.